Right. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we're still settling down in courtroom 2, so we will begin shortly.
Yes. You asked Elizabeth why Mr. Miles not on calendar. Why is this? He's not on calendar. What's the solicitor's name?
Who's running?
He's not on there.
I'm on there. They told me yesterday I had four. Not two, we're not talking about. That's me right here. Yeah. Actually.
Deputy, let me know when y'all are ready, okay?
We're ready. We're ready, Judge.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Lal, and we are going to begin with our expedited accusation calendar. This is a criminal misdemeanor calendar with the State Court of Fulton County. These are a list of misdemeanor cases in which individuals were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Soon after that, the cases have been formally accused by the prosecutor, who is the Solicitor General of Fulton County. So therefore, this would be the defendant's initial appearance before a judicial officer soon after being arrested. When I call your case, I will let you know as to what is your new accusation number, what are the charges brought against you, to appoint counsel to represent you, and to also set a bond in your case if one has not been set. With regards to bond, some of you may qualify for what we call a signature bond that can either be issued through the jail or through the Department of Pretrial Services. In either event, if you do receive a signature bond, you will not have to pay for the bond today, but you would have to comply with certain conditions, such as no contact with the victim or to stay away from the location. If you do not comply with those conditions, your signature bond could be revoked and converted to either a cash bond or a surety bond. For those of you who do not qualify for a signature bond today, you may receive a cash or surety bond. For those type of bonds, you would have to pay for it either out of your own pocket or through a bonding company. If you're a defendant charged with a misdemeanor offense or offenses, please also remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court or even this virtual court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and one will be appointed to represent you either from the Public Defender's Office or from the Conflict Defense List. Mr. Tay, who do we have, please?
Position number 5.
Thank you. And Ms. Strong, do we have any other additional cases other than the ones I have today?
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't hear you.
Do we have additional cases other than the ones on the calendar?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, we did interview, what's his name?
Cameron Miles.
Cameron Miles,
Yeah.
and he should be on the calendar today.
But he's not.
All right, Mr. Pierre Thomas,
Mr. Miles should be a pad referral.
We
all right.
didn't receive any notice of, but that's great, but I didn't get any,
That's
All
fine.
right.
I thought someone
Yes.
reached out.
Let's wait till the end of the calendar to find out what's going on with Cameron Miles. Okay, let's start with Deanna Ventis, charged with misdemeanor obstruction of a law enforcement officer from February 14th, 2024. Ms. Ventus, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Atay. Any priors, Mr.
No.
No? Okay. Mr. Graham?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place February 14, 2024. Law enforcement were conducting an eviction at 7670 Cochrane Mill Road in Palmetto. Upon arrival to the property, the officers met with some of the other tenants who complied, removed themselves without incident. Upon approaching Deanna Ventus's unit, she refused to follow the verbal directives to step out. After about 10 minutes, she opened the door in a hostile manner. She was immediately handcuffed and taken into custody. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the incident location.
What's the incident location, please?
7670 Cochrane Mill Road in
Is there an
Palmetto.
apartment number? I'm sorry.
I can take a look for you. One second.
Mr. Tay, any objection to the stay away since this was apparently an eviction process?
Your Honor, I would object to the stay away, but I mean, if she's been evicted, there's a stay away anyway, so I would just leave it up to whatever process.
If she returns, she'll be arrested. Jeopardize her signature bond.
I don't have any confirmation well, okay, but I don't have any objection to the stay away or the signature bond through the jail, but I do have a statement to make.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, my client is 31 years old. She has absolutely no criminal history, has never been arrested. She's a mother of 2 children who she homeschools. She does deny the allegations in the warrant, although I will say that even the allegation states that she was arrested immediately after opening the door. So I'm not sure if the 10-minute wait, for a mother with 2 toddlers in the home to come out of the house is the basis for the willful obstruction, or if it's the opening of the door in a hostile manner. I don't think there's a basis for an obstruction charge, Your Honor, but she does deny the allegations. And I have no objection to the signature bond through the jail and state.
Mr. Grant, unit number if you have it.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's no unit number listed in the warrant. And
7670 Cochrane Mill Road.
yes, Your Honor.
All right. A bond is set at $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Ms. Ventus, we're going to give you, this is still an active criminal case. The issue of whether this was a lawful obstruction charge will be something that will be determined at a preliminary hearing. But in the meantime, you are to stay away from 7670 Cochrane Mill Road, in whichever unit you were occupying at the time of the incident. You can return to that location one time only with a police officer to retrieve any personal belongings that you have there. But that's only a one-time visit. And if your personal belongings have been removed from the unit, so then it should be outside. But otherwise, you cannot return to that location after that one-time visit. Please remember, it must be with a police escort. Your next court date will be sent to your new mailing address. So within 30 days of being released, please update the court with your new address. Thank you.
You're awesome.
30 days. Just so that she gets.
Next, we have position number 1, Johnson Tony.
What number is next again?
Position number 1 on the calendar.
Mr. Pierre Thomas, unless y'all have any objection to waiving a sounding of the charge, I'll have to put this, if you have an objection, I have to put this to the end of the calendar.
No objection to waiving sound, Your Honor.
Okay. Tony Johnson is charged with a misdemeanor offense from February 13th, 2024. Case number 24 CR 755. Mr. Johnson, has your attorney seated next to you shown you a copy of the charge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We are not going to sound out the charge. Mr. Cook is your counsel and you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
He got 138. 83 cycles come out of Tennessee, 47 out of Georgia, 7 out of North Carolina.
And all them tough games.
On probation out of the cab until May for shoplifting. Last arrest was back in January, trespass, NOLO. 2023 criminal damage to property. 2023 shoplifting, obstruction, simple assault conviction. 2021 battery on public transit conviction.
All them tough games.
2020 battery obstruction. 2019 trespass. I can go on and on.
Yes, sir, and
a lot.
we'd love to listen to the rest of it, but I think that's it, that's adequate, thank you. Mr. Pierre Thomas, just give me the bond recommendation, please.
Yeah, if I could just give you one that's relevant that wasn't mentioned, unfortunately, it's a simple assault he caught the conviction of February 7th of this year, 2024 out of Clayton County. So he was, I guess, released from and then participated in this. The recommendation from the state is a $3,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a stay away from that incident location, and no contact with the victim. The victim's name is Justice Garris, Garris. And if you could sound for Ms. Garris in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Justice Garris, are you present? Okay. May I have the incident location, please?
Is going to be 435 West Peachtree Street Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia. And I guess upon further research, that appears to be St. Luke's Episcopal Church.
All right.
What's
Mr.
that?
Cook?
Go ahead, Mr. Cook.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. We have a stairway. Is that from the 435 address? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. I was thinking, okay. Your Honor, we have no objection to stay away or no further contact. I would leave the bond to the discretion of the court.
Bond is set at $2,000. It is a surety bond. To have no contact with Justice Garris, stay away 200 yards away from the address 435 West Peachtree Street in Northeast Atlanta. If that particular church location is where Mr. Johnson goes, he needs to find another church. His next court date is going to be February 29th, 2024. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Thank you. Deputy, we will have to unmute if Mr. Johnson would like to
Wait a
address.
minute, I have a right. I want to know I'm disabled. I am disabled. I be there with charge I have disability. I want to know what I got to do. Do I get a second bond? Do I have to make bond?
You have to make bond.
How much my bond?
Let me answer your question before you interrupt. Your bond is $2,000. You have to make
Yeah,
a
I go back to court.
bond. No, do not interrupt.
Okay.
Your $2,000 surety bond, and you would have to go through a bonding company, or you pay for that out of your own pocket.
When I go back to court?
I'm sorry?
When do I go back to court?
Your next court date is February 29th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And it
Okay,
will be
I ain't
just
paying.
like this.
I don't like you no more.
I get that a lot. Okay.
Your
Next
Honor,
case, please. Is this position 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Travis Lawrence is charged with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass causing damage to property. Incident date is February 14th, 2024, and the accusations 24 CR 756. Mr. Howard, any priors?
I got first arrest.
All right. Mr. Pierre Thomas, do you agree?
I have first arrest as well, Your Honor.
All right. And what's the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, state's recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, and the anger awareness course. And brief facts of the case, Your Honor, is that on February 14, 2024, the officer responded to the incident location of 357 Triumph Circle Southeast in reference to a dispute at the location. The officer spoke with the victim, who advised that her brother, the defendant, and her got into a verbal altercation because she was about the transfer app, Cash App, and she refused to give him marijuana. She stated that at some point he said that she was acting funny and that he would have been waiting to knock her out. The victim advised that the defendant suddenly punched her in the face and began pulling her hair and dragging her. She advised that her sister and her aunt had to get the defendant off of her. She also advised that he proceeded to breaking her stereo system, Canon printer, dining table set, and CVO laptop. The officer observed the marks on the victim, marks redness on to the left side of her face. She looked disheveled, and she was missing hair, and she had scratches on her arms that were consistent with the account that took place. Officer left the location, and a 911 call came in and said that the defendant arrived back at the location and told her that he was going to get someone to beat her up. The officer when the officer arrived back at the location, the defendant took off on foot and had to eventually be caught hiding under a shed at a nearby home. Our office was able to get in contact with Ms. Fleetwood, Travana Fleetwood, Travonna. She advised that they are brother and sister, and they live there at the home along with other families. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She states that he has hit her in the past. She states that she's thinking about going to the doctor because her eye is still closed shut from the incident. She states that she does fear the defendant. She would like no contact. She'd like for him to participate in anger management course, and she would like for a one-time police escort. And she says that the value of the damage to her belongings was around $2,500.
Oh, that makes it a felony.
Yes, but in order for it to be accepted by the office, there would need to be receipts, and so she did confirm that she would send the receipts in at a later date, and that once she goes to the doctor, she will send in those documentations as well. And so if we could just sound for her, I know that she stated that she won't be on the call, but if we could just sound for Ms. Fleetwood in accordance with Marcy's thought, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Miss Travana Fleetwood. I do see someone in an iPhone Max, but I have no idea who that is. So, all right, Mr. Cook.
Your Honor, as stated, my client has no previous arrest. He's lived in Atlanta most of his life, as I understand it. They do have a large family in that home, including an aunt and I think at least 3 siblings. We have no problem with the stairway or the no further contact. He has another place to which he can go once he gets out. We would ask, though, given the lack of a record, and he does dispute many aspects of the warrant, that he get a signature only bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Okay. On the battery family violence, it's going to be 2,500. On the criminal trespass causing damage to property is 1,500. The total bond is set at 4,000. It is a surety bond. No contact with Travana Fleetwood, and to stay away from 357 Triumph Circle, Southeast Atlanta. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and firearms. Marijuana is still considered an illegal drug in the state of Georgia. The surety bond is based not upon his lack of or based on any record, but based on the court's concern that he may be an imminent threat to the victim. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have position number 3, Fonda Herbert.
This is State versus Herbert Ponder, 24 CR 757. Arrested from a traffic incident on February 14th, 2024. Charged with operating a vehicle without headlights as required by law, driving while license suspended or revoked, and willful obstruction of an officer. Mr. Ponder, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
He got 10 cycles. One of his cycles is FTA, so I don't know when he go to court for that.
Any prior driving while license suspended or DUI?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I just had to let you know about the FTA.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna give his last arrest was on the 4th of this month, failed to appear. He was arrested on the 6th of this month, selling marijuana suspended license out of Douglas County, 2021 FTA, 2021 suspended license NOLO, and a 2015 DUI arrest. I don't know what the disposition was.
All right, thank you. Mr. Pierre Thomas?
Yeah, the brief facts of the case is that on February 14th, the officer was conducting and patrolling in the area of Howard Mill Road Northwest on I-75 southbound expressway northwest. And while traveling eastbound on Howard Mill Road, the officer observed the vehicle traveling without active lights. The officer activated the blue lights and sirens and proceeded to conduct what is known as a traffic stop. During the stop, the officer requested the driver's identification, at which time he stated that he did not have it on him. He stated that I believe he stated he was in a rush. The defendant provided his name and date of birth, which returned to show that his license was not active and it was actually suspended, and that he had an active warrant out of Fulton County Sheriff's Office for a failure to appear, which is for driving under the influence of drugs. While attempting to place the cuffs on the defendant's wrist, the defendant took off on foot and ran around the parking lot. Your Honor, I'm not sure if we said it, but that Peachtree City 2022 driving while license suspended or revoked was a conviction, and he has at least 1, 2, 3 driving while license suspended or revoked arrests within the last, I guess, 4 years. The recommendation from the state is $1,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a no driving. And the breakdown for that would be on count 1, operating without lights, $250. On count 2, driving while license suspended or revoked, a $1,000 surety bond. And for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, $250. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
All right. Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, we have, well, we would be asking for signature only bond, and we have no problem with the no driving if he obviously has no license, but would like that to be, we would like him to be able to get that reinstated if he complies with all the DDS, requirements. We would certainly ask for signature only bond, given the nature of the violation and the nature of other violations he's had in the past.
Okay. What time of the evening was this stop, Mr. Pierre Thomas?
One moment, I believe it was 8 something. Let me double check. It's in the application, I know, for the purposes of the headlight charge. One moment. It was, according to the warrant, 8:28 p.m.
All right. Yeah. Mr. Ponder, on operating a vehicle without proper lights is going to be $500. Driving while license suspended or revoked is $1,500, and willful obstructions $1,000. That's a total of a $3,000 bond. Your next court date is February 29th. This is a surety bond. Condition to your bond as well is no driving unless you have a valid current driver's license, adequate automobile insurance, and proper registration for the vehicle being operated. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Judge, that was 500, 1,500, and 1,000.
500 on the headlights, 1,500 on the license, and 1,000 on the obstruction.
Thank you.
Next, we have position number 4. No.
She said 15.
Come on, I take.
State v. Gary Sargent, charged with simple battery family violence from February 13th, 2024. Mr. Sargent, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Hoda Atay, and your accusation number is 24 CR 0000758, simple battery family violence.
He got 9 total. I saw a hold out of Jonesboro. Last arrest was 2023 for AMC charge. Probation violations from 2021, 2022, 2023. 2021 simple battery conviction. 020 ag assault. I'm not sure of that disposition.
All right. Is that in Fulton?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Mr. Graham?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place February 13th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a fight call at 3 Fairburn Road Southwest in Atlanta. It's noted that that is not the residence of the parties. Officers did meet with Catherine Spears at another location, 3566 MLK Junior Drive, where she had walked to after driving away from the incident location. She told the responding officer that she was physically assaulted by her boyfriend, Gary Sargent. Also that when they were sitting in her car, she reached into the back seat. He began yelling at her, pulling her back into the front seat. When she got out of the vehicle to call 911, Mr. Sargent then began wrestling with her for the phone. He slapped her hands multiple times, trying to grab the phone, and also grabbed her by the throat. Mr. Sargent gained possession of the phone, went back into the car. Ms. Spears then reached into the driver's side door to retrieve the phone. At that time, Mr. Sargent grabbed her by the hair, pulled her into the vehicle. They ended up driving to a nearby apartment complex, which is 52 Fairburn Road Southwest. Once there, she parked the car and she walked to where she met the responding officer. Mr. Sargent was found asleep in the car at the 52 Fairburn location. Ms. Spears confirmed that the two had been living together for about 8 months. She had no visible injuries. Our office has made contact with Ms. Spears. She confirmed that she and the defendant have been in a relationship for about 8 months. They have no kids, and they are currently residentially challenged. She stated that there is a domestic violence history, and that the Mr. Sargent does have a consumption and abuse problem, that he suffers from other medical issues. She confirmed the events in the warrant. There has been a strangulation assessment completed. Based on the severity of the incident and Mr. Sargent's history, the state is requesting a $2,000 surety bond, ADET, anger awareness, no further contact with Catherine Spears. There's no address for a stay away, but no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Spears indicated she'd be on Zoom if we can sign for the victim, Your Honor.
I see you.
I'm here.
All right. Miss Catherine Spears, if you'd like to add anything to the proceedings, you would need to start your video.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Miss Spears, if you'd like to raise your, would you like to contribute, or you can
Yes,
remain
I would.
silent? Okay, please raise your
Yes,
right
ma'am.
hand. Do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me put your hand up. Are you in fear of Mr. Sargent?
No, ma'am.
All right. And what would you like to tell the court?
We've had a challenging relationship since we've become homeless, and I don't condone his behavior, but I do love him. And if he can get some help, I'm willing to let him come home.
Miss Atay? Thank you. You may mute your screen.
Your Honor, my client is 33 years old. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. He is residentially challenged. I think he's been living in his car for months now. He does have a GED. He was working. He does have 5 children, minor children, ages 5 to 16. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. I object to an ADET. 1-day anger awareness is fine, or whatever's necessary for him to be able to get a signature bond through pretrial services, because he cannot afford a bond, Your Honor. And no further contact with the complaining witness is also fine.
Thank you. So ability to afford a bond is one of the factors we look at. The other factor we look at is your criminal history record. And my concern is not only based on his recent infractions with the law in 2023, 2022, but he's also got an aggravated assault case in Fulton County.
That's open.
One- I'm sorry?
I think it's an open case and it's, I mean, it said judicial hold, but so he's presumed innocent of those.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. That's why he gets a chance to have a trial where the state would have to burden to prove the case against him beyond a reasonable doubt. But nevertheless, given the allegations on his criminal history record and the fact that the alleged victim does not dispute that the incident did not take place, the court is very concerned, and the bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's going to be a surety bond. No contact with Catherine Spears. He is to stay 200 yards away from her, have absolutely no contact with her whatsoever. And no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. His next court date is February 29th. Thank you. Is the next one Roderick Walker? This is Mr. Walker.
I'm sorry, yes, yes.
That's all right. Thank you. Roderick Walker is 24 CR 760, accused of criminal trespass causing damage to property from February 11th, 2024. Mr. Walker, you've been advised to be a right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss Atay. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, he got 20 total. He should also be in custody for ag assault, ag stalking, false imprisonment, and simple battery. He's on probation for some CWAC charges. I have to tell you that in the chat.
All right.
Also on probation in Douglas County, 2 counts of robbery until 2036. Got a 2014 burglary, false imprisonment, possession of a knife or a firearm during the conviction. You want these in the chat? You wanna know what they
I
are?
just need the CWAC charges or disposition in the
No,
chat.
he on probation for him. All right, I'll put him in the chat for you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place February 11, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a trespass call at 1628 Wood Creek Trail in Roswell. Upon arrival, they made contact with Morgan Garner. She advised she was awakened by a loud bang at the front door. Upon examining the door, she noticed it had been damaged. She ended up contacting Roderick Walker. He admitted that he had kicked the door. The officer observed the door, saw substantial damage on the inside of the door frame, indicating that it had been kicked from the outside. Our office has not been able to be in contact with Ms. Garner. And also with the systems being down, we're unable to find out if she's the victim of those open cases. As a result of the history, the state is requesting a $5,000 surety bond. No further contact with Morgan.
Morgan Garner's here. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Morgan.
All right, you may continue, Mr. Graham.
We're requesting $5,000 surety bond. No further contact with Morgan Garner. Stay away from 1628 Wood Creek Trail, Roswell. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And if we can sound from Ms. Garner, I believe she's present.
All right. Now, Ms. Garner, you may unmute and start your video, please.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay.
Please
What
raise your
is
right
being-
hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, spit the gum out of your mouth.
Okay. What he's being accused of never happened. My neighbor ended up calling the police for no reason. None of this happened at all. And I don't know who spoke and said that he admitted to breaking the door down. I don't think that's correct because that never happened. And if I would like for all of these charges to be completely not put against him.
How do you know Roderick Walker?
He was my boyfriend.
Was, as in the past tense?
I mean,
I don't know.
yes,
I'm
he's my
asking.
boyfriend. He's my boyfriend.
Oh, he's currently your boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You may mute your screen, please. Mr. Graham, do you have a copy of the arrest warrant?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, when was it signed?
The warrant was signed on February 13th, 7:58 p.m.
And can you screen share the warrant or can you read the warrant?
I can do either, whichever is most.
Screen share is good.
Okay. All right, I'm having a bit of trouble with that. Do you want me to just place an image of it into the chat for you?
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. Okay, Your Honor, it should be in your chat.
I'm sorry, it's not. Could you try again? You direct it straight to me and then you would attach the document. All right. Thank you. And could you then send that to Miss Atay as well in the chat?
Okay, so I did send it to courtroom 2, Your Honor.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Send this to you. Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you. Yes, Miss Atay, you have a copy of the warrant?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, go ahead. What would you like to say?
Your Honor, my client is a 31-year-old father of one minor child. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He is gainfully employed in construction, but he's currently here with no bond set on felony charges. He tells me that his next court date is March 8th, 2024. So really, the bond here is not going to help him
Understood.
here until March 8th. But I will say that he does deny the allegations. You've heard from the complaining witness. I know the warrant is saying something different. When I spoke with the complaining witness, she said she doesn't know why it's written that way. That's not what she said. But Your
Well,
Honor,
looking at the warrant, yeah, looking at the warrant, I'm a little perplexed, but just as you, but what would you recommend?
well, I mean, on these charges, I would ask for a signature bond through the jail. I mean, he's here until March 8th. I don't know why. And he tells me that at the felony hearing, they said, oh, well, we haven't heard from the complaint or the alleged victim, so we're not going to set a bond. So he didn't have a bond set because of that, you know, this, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Anything else?
no, just a signature bond, Your Honor.
All right. I'm I'm a little perplexed, like I said, about what Miss Garner just said, and I don't know what has been recorded on the officer's body cam footage. But according to the warrant, apparently there were 2 encounters with the alleged victim. So that's something that's going to have to be fleshed out during a preliminary hearing. But given Mr. Walker's history, I'm very concerned. And also the other question is, I don't know who owns the property at 1628 Wood Creek Trail. If it's a rental property, then it's definitely not Miss Garner's property to protect, but more of the landlord or the property owner. Bond is set at $1,500. It is a surety bond. He has to stay 500 yards away from the entire location known as 1628 Wood Creek Trail in Roswell, Georgia. He cannot return to that entire complex. No contact with Morgan Garner. And he is to no illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Next court date is February 29th. Thank you. Mr. Walker, just FYI, they do monitor the phone calls from the jail, so please be mindful that you're not to contact Ms. Garner at all, even if she solicits the communication. Thank you. Do you know what's going on with position 7? Anyone at the jail? Deputy Norris in courtroom 2, could you advise me on the status of position 7? Bertha Williams.
Position number 7, she waived her appearance.
Okay, all right. Bertha Williams' accusation is 24 CR 761, accused of theft by taking and criminal trespass. Is that Miss Williams, Miss Atay?
No, Your Honor, she waived her appearance.
All right. So let's talk about Bertha Williams. Incident date appears to be February 5th, 2024 in Fulton County. And any priors, Mr. Howard?
51. Last arrest was 2023. Trespass, terrorist threats. She got a couple of trespass arrests from 2022, 2021 FTA, a PI conviction, 2020 trespass conviction, probation, 2019 FTA, probation, 2018 theft by taking conviction, simple battery conviction.
That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Grant?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place February 5th, 2024. Haley Sapp, a GSU student, reported her purse as being stolen. She told the responding officers that she had inadvertently left the purse in a seat at the Student Center West, located at 66 Cortlandt Street Southeast. When she returned to retrieve it, it was gone. Contents of the purse included her social security card, driver's license, her GSU ID, credit cards, and some Tiffany jewelry. The law enforcement reviewed camera footage. They witnessed Bertha Williams sitting in the same seat vacated by Ms. Sapp, removing some items from the seat and placing it in her bag. Ms. Williams has several prior incidents on the GSU campus. She's been served a permanent criminal trespass, barring her from all GSU property back on February 15th, 2018. She's got 33 total incidents there at Georgia State University. We've been unable to contact Ms. Sapp. The state is recommending signature bond through pretrial services, anti-theft course, no further contact with Haley Sapp, stay away from GSU in accordance with the warning, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, thank you. Ms. Atay, any comment about the stay away? She's got a permanent ban, by the way.
Yes, no objection to the stay away or the no further contact, Your Honor. I would object to an anti-theft course, and I would object even to the signature bond through pretrial services because she's homeless, Your Honor. I don't know if she would be able to successfully report to pretrial services. and certainly not complete an anti-theft course. I think those are done virtually.
Have the items been returned to the victim, Mr. Graham? Since
Your Honor, I'm uncertain. Didn't have an update.
on the theft by taking is going to be 500. The criminal trespass is 500. Totals $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. Miss Atay, I'm sure you'll be able to persuade Miss Williams the importance of reporting to pretrial and the importance of staying away from all GSU property in accordance with the trespass that she's under. The next court date will be sent. She'll need to keep up with her address, with her notices through the public defender's office or through whatever means she likes to receive notices. Thank you.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
How was pretrial supposed to keep up with her if she homeless?
Make sure she gives you an email and phone number.
She basically on the SOB jail then, because if she homeless, we can't contact her. I mean,
I know.
Your Honor, and I mean, that's why I was saying, even if I can explain to her about, reporting to pretrial or, giving
Okay.
an address.
I'll make it easier. $1,000 surety. Stay away from all GSU. Reset date February 29th. Given her tremendous criminal history record, we'll see her on the 29th. Thank you. Next case, who do we have? Is that someone we've not addressed?
So apparently Cameron Miles is not on the calendar because he was referred to PAD but
Is that who it is? Cameron Miles, the gentleman seated back there? Okay. Miss Umberger, was it Miss Umberger?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Thank you. And what can you tell me about Cameron Miles in terms of admission to that PAD program?
Okay, well, I would have to first interview. This is the first that I've heard of this. Actually come to the jail this morning and reached out via email asking for referrals and nobody ever responded.
Okay. And Mr. Pierre Thomas, does he have an accusation number?
He doesn't have an accusation number. The case was not accused in anticipation that he would be going to PAD or be accepted by PAD.
Okay. And when was are we still within the 72 hours of the arrest warrant?
One moment, Your Honor.
Deputy Norris, could you tell me when was Mr. Miles booked into the Fulton County Jail?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
Mike, I've explained PAD to my client. He is not interested, so we might not.
He's not interested in the PAD program?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to reset this case till tomorrow for the C calendar. And the state will file an accusation.
I never asked. Okay, take me go to bed. Take me to bed.
No.
I want to be there. I don't want to be here, man. I don't want to be in jail, man.
All right. Well, you still have to be there because the case has not been accused and you've not been interviewed by PAD, so it's still there. No, I'm not waiting for you to respond. I don't need a response. Okay. So bond is set at $5,000 surety in the event that I address this case at the present time. I'm kidding.
What's that amount?
I'm kidding about it. I'm kidding. So let's go over the calendar. Cameron Miles is reset to tomorrow. Mr. Pierre Thomas, you decide if y'all want to accuse the case. And Ms. Umberger, y'all still have an opportunity to interview Mr. Miles to see whether he wants to go. Well, apparently now he's indicated no, but you know, they may change their mind, so.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Cameron Miles is reset to tomorrow at 2 p.m. Meanwhile, Tony Johnson, position 1's $2,000 surety bond. Position 2 is a $4,000 surety bond. Both cases are reset to February 29. Position 3 is a $3,000 surety bond, reset February 29. Position 4 is a $3,000 surety bond, reset February. Reset date is 3,000. Position 4 is a $3,000 surety bond, reset date February 29. Position 5 is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Position 6 is a $1,500 surety bond, reset date February 29. As position 7's a $1,000 surety bond, reset date February 29. Officer Norris, yes, sir.
Hold on, when's my court date? Let the judge talk. I said, hold on.
Officer Norris, did you have something to add?
Yeah, can we go back to his case? He said he doesn't want Pat, he just, if it's.
Yeah, I've already instructed.
I don't want to do that.
Yes, Deputy Norris. His next court date is February 16th at 2 p.m., the next C calendar. The state has to accuse the case, and then we can address it as well as then address all the other factors like.
Okay, I think you just didn't understand it. I'll explain it to
They
him.
said I had court today though.
I'll
Why y'all
explain it to you.
scheduling?
I'm gonna explain it to you. That's why.
I've explained it to you.
I got
Hasn't
something.
been accused.
Bro, I'm good.
Mr. Cook? Mr. Cook? Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else from anyone else? Mr. Graham, Mr. Pierre Thomas? Anyone? Okay.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, folks. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.